I'm Michael McCarthy, I work with Versatile Group and I'm our internal ventilation specialist. So we're trying to make sure that people are more aware of indoor air quality and trying to improve that and trying to make sure that we're offering solutions that give people a better indoor environment to live in, work in, or even go to school in, depending on the scenario that we're looking at. This is our ComfoAir 350 unit. It's a typical example of what we would offer in our domestic ventilation range. Mid-size, so we've smaller units for apartments, larger units for larger houses. This would be typical for maybe a 3-4 bedroom house, semi-D. It's the type of thing that we would advocate for if we're trying to add value to the real estate, trying to give something extra over and above what would have been standard build in the past. We're adding in an additional solution that gives the person that's going to live in the home better indoor air quality and offers some heat recovery as well to reduce the energy bills. Okay, so we've opened up the hood of the unit here now, so we're looking at the internal heart of what's happening inside. The main thing to note is the heat exchanger. So we've got this hexagon-shaped unit in here that's allowing us to pass the flow of cold, fresh air coming in from outside and move it past the warm, stale air that's leaving. So we can exchange the heat, bring the heat into the supply side and recover that energy, so we're making the building more efficient. You'll also note that we can see here, if I just remove them slightly, you've got 2 filters on the system. So one of them is on the incoming fresh air side, and that's to protect the building, if you like, from any outdoor contaminants. So that's a fine filter that we're going to bring in, reduce any pollen in the air, clean the air before it enters the building. We also need a filter, a less fine filter on the outgoing side, and that's just purely to protect the heat exchanger so it doesn't become clogged over time. At the bottom of the unit, you can't see it quite, but at the bottom you have the 2 fans. So you've got a fresh air fan bringing air in from outside and an exhaust fan on the opposite side pulling the air from the house. They're balanced off each other, so they both run at the same volume. So we always have the same pressurization in the building. So we're making sure that if we're bringing in 60 litres a second of fresh air, we're removing 60 litres a second of stale air. So everything is balanced and even pressure. The only other thing to note is the control panel. So again, this is not something that you wouldn't normally have to get into in too much detail, but from a commissioning point of view, we set up the control panel to run the system based on the size of the house, and that can then link out to a number of different applications. So we can have a standalone wall controller, it can link to an app on the phone, it can link to a building management system if there's a smart home situation. So there's lots of options when it comes to the control side, but ultimately the main controller on the unit decides what the unit has to do, and then everything else can program into that.